Plans have been in the pipeline for a very, very long while, as we all know, because Elland Road very clearly isn't big enough at the minute, and thankfully we finally have a little bit more clarification on the expansion of the ground to make sure that it is now no longer a very old ground that isn't quite ready. It's going to become a ground for the future, because Leeds United have now outlined the Elland Road plans. But before I dive into all of that, there's something important I would quite like to know. Apparently, you've been grassed up. 55% of you aren't subscribed to this channel. 55%. It's one click. No excuse. Just boop. There we go. That'd be hugely appreciated. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to take this from the beginning. I'm going to run through the entire statement that they put out about the football club. I'm going to explain some of the more technical bits to you and sort of get across the idea of what the ground is likely to look like after the fact. We don't have any technical drawings or anything like that yet. We need to keep that in mind. But we've got plenty of detail in this statement. So first up, we need to talk about the fact that something in the title itself was very sort of instrumental to me. It's stated as a plan to enhance Elland Road Stadium. It would be very easy for the 49ers to come in and do what they've done in various other places and create a completely new stadium and say, you know what? We'll just do something completely fresh, something completely new, and it'll be fine. They've not. They have genuinely committed themselves to making it all okay and improving the ground we already have, which I think is a big commitment to the history of the club, and I think that is fairly important to me at the very least, and lots of other fans. Next up, there was a very, very significant note on the huge plan to boost the capacity from 37.6k to around 53k. Again, that's massive. Another 16k people in the ground. Yes, some of that will be corporate stuff, but the vast majority will be general admission because I feel it's quite hard to sell 8,000 corporate tickets. A big part of that being general admission is huge because it means that that season ticket waiting list will eventually trickle down. And there was a very big note that I spotted further down in the bit that's all very texty, which was that Elland Road in its current form has sold out for every match over the last 6 years. This might not be in advance. This might be, okay, there's a couple of tickets floating around on the day or something like that. But it's a sign that there's very clearly a hell of a lot of demand for the club right now. And that season ticket waiting list is not going to go down when we're in this situation, because if you have a season ticket, even if you don't fancy going, you're more likely to give it to someone and say, it's fine, I don't want to lose my seat, than just give up the season ticket anyway. That's the problem that is existing with season tickets at the minute, so the only way that we can realistically fix it is getting more seats in, which I think is fairly important. In addition to that, I thought it was quite important that they noted a core architectural design objective is to maintain and enhance the unique atmosphere. We know how Elland Road, when it's in that mood, can be a hell of a place for another side to come. I remember after we scored the goal to put us in the lead against Leicester, how it felt in that ground, and I was in the East Stand upper for that. The place where it is normally not the best of atmospheres, but it was bouncing up there. I had a guy with top chips sat next to me, and the chips just went everywhere. It was fantastic. I remember the Norwich match, sat in front of the away fans, and that was brilliant. We just won 4-0, and the entire place was bouncing for the full 90 minutes. And the fact that we look to actively retain that atmosphere as a club is important. I think the issue that we currently have with the East Stand is it's taller than all the other stands, and it's out facing basically nothing. So there's nothing for the sound to bounce off of. I think sorting out the West Stand will, to an extent, fix the issues with the East. And then the idea is to go to, I think it was the North Stand that was also mentioned. Bring that up, and then it becomes significantly more vicious, and the sound bounces around a lot nicer. And they mentioned a little bit later on something about acoustic consultants. I'll get into that in a minute because there's a very important note that I've sort of picked up between something I watched about Wembley and this that I think will work in our favour. In addition to that, there is going to be a phased approach to construction, which means we're not going to lose too many seats once we're doing it. So when Fulham lost an entire stand because they were doing some building, not going to happen with us. We're going to do it bit by bit. I imagine we'll build the second tier up over the first and then go down again. And also very important is the push for UEFA Category 4 status. UEFA Category 4 status is known for being some of the best of grounds. I'm going to find what was defined as the Cat 4 things. But as far as I'm aware, to get some of the biggest UEFA E fixtures, you're gonna need Category 4 status. So if you want to host something, even like the Europa Conference League final, you need Category 4 status, which I don't know if we have at the minute, because looking through it, you need a lot of weird things. So the football pitch needs to be a specific size. You need a size of referees' dressing room. The lighting needs to be a certain way. There's a minimum capacity. We're well over that minimum capacity, by the way, because that's 8,000. But you need a certain amount of turnstiles per seats, a set amount of VIP seating just to look after various delegates and all that kind of crap. VIP parking, hospitality system. I think the biggest issue that we'd have at the minute is on maybe the minimum media seating, because I don't quite know if there's enough spots to seat 60 at the minute. It's probably up there, having been in the press box, but I can't be 100% certain. I'm not entirely sure on what it's like for the camera platforms, and in addition to that, not entirely sure we've got what we need in terms of outside broadcast van area. You need 1,000 square meters of outside broadcast area. So it might be a case where the West End car park ends up losing a little bit of space to just become big broadcast spot. But we're very close to Category 4 anyway. But if we can secure that, then we can push for stuff like hosting some of the bigger European matches. And that helps us in terms of the revenue thing. On the acoustic consultancy stuff, I thought this was really important and something to note. Transport consultancy, also great. I'll get into that in a minute. But acoustic consultancy is why I think Wembley is kind of crap. Because I remember when Wembley first opened, I watched a documentary on it and the engineering behind it. And there's little details in Wembley that make it specifically designed for concerts. So if you look at all of the individual like hospitality boxes and stuff, all of the windows are angled slightly differently. So when they reflect sound back, if you're at a concert, you're not getting the same note from multiple different directions and echoes. It's designed to reduce echo, but that also means that it's designed to sort of kill a rumbling football chant, which I think is part of what kills it. And because Elland Road would be very specifically a football stadium rather than an event space, I think that'd be very, very good for us if we had acoustic consultants who are like, right, okay, this is what's wrong here, fix it for here. And I think we'll be completely fine, to be completely honest with you. I'm not worried about that atmosphere thing because I know Leeds fans are rabid and it's very easy to get acoustics right in these cases. Also, it works as a part of a wider regeneration for Leeds. The White Rose train station. The White Rose train station. I was going to say White Rose Centre train station, but that's a lot of words. Is already a part of the big sort of regeneration of this area of Leeds. Combine that with a potential tram network. Combine that with the fact that they're looking at transport consultants to make sure that everything works in tandem with the city. It's very important that Leeds United is going to become a bigger part of Leeds as a city, and it's going to become ingrained in the infrastructure. Because that helps the city, because when it comes to match days, people can get to and fro a lot easier. It helps the local economy more, and it helps the club because people aren't pissed off waiting in traffic time and time and time again. At the end of the day, what this all means for the club is a lot of very, very nice things. It means better revenues because it's a bigger ground, you can sell more tickets, and yeah, it's an initial investment, but it's a big step forwards. And it means that you can also sell the ground out. Sorry, I've got hiccups. For occasional days and games like Europa Conference League stuff, like international tournaments. Imagine we had this ground already, and then the Euro 2028 bit happened. Having a look at the Euro 2028 stadiums, right? This is going to take a moment because I hadn't prepped this. I'm just thinking in advance. Stadiums are Wembley, 90k. Fair enough. You're not going to displace that. Spurs, brand new stadium. You're not going to take that place. The Millennium Stadium, sure, Wales needs representation. City Manchester Stadium, yeah, bigger than Elland Road. Everton's new stadium would have a smaller capacity than an expanded Elland Road, which is a spot that we could take. The same applies for Newcastle. The same would apply for Villa Park. Apparently, there's a stadium left to be decided. We won't have the new, improved Elland Road ready in time for that. But that's the sort of thing we'd be able to push towards. In addition to that, we can pitch ourselves a lot better internationally. We can put ourselves forward as a excellent venue beyond just being the home of Leeds United. That is what I want the core focus to be. But you're almost inevitably going to be in a position where it's like, sure, we can earn a lot of money by putting other stuff on this pitch. Stuff like rugby league, stuff like, fuck it, American football. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, us not moving stadium also means that we're retaining the history whilst improving that revenue and increasing the opportunities. And at the end of the day, we're making a club that is ready for the challenges that are in front of us. And that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Very much looking forward to that. But as always, that's what I think. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe. You could even become a channel member. You get videos like this one a few hours early, and it's 99p a month, and it really, really helps the channel. And yeah, also subscribe, because if you're part of the 55%, I'm going to be really, really sad. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. I cannot wait for bigger Elland Road. It's going to be great. Sod it, let's get a wrestling pay-per-view. That'd be perfect.